Hey everyone, Joe here. Well, today I'd like to do a little comparison between the current Nikon D3300 and the new to be released Canon EOS Rebel T6. And now these are two entry-level DSLR cameras. The T6 here from Canon is replacing the current T5, which has also been a #1 bestseller on Amazon. But also the Nikon here, D3300, has also been their #1 bestseller, at least in the Nikon area. And since the new T6 is out, I thought I'd do a little comparison to kind of go over some specifications, let my viewers know what on each one of these cameras, to kind of help you make a more of a comparison, decide which one to buy, should you decide to buy one of these upgrading. Because this is a very important time for somebody looking to, and they want to upgrade to a DSLR, is to choose which body to go with, either go with Canon or go with Nikon. And because you end up buying a lot of lenses, and those lenses are what really lock you into your own Canon or Nikon brand for quite a while. And because lenses, they stick with you. So when you buy one of these bodies, then you buy another lens for it, another lens for it, another lens for it. Then pretty soon when you're thinking, hey, maybe I should go with Canon, you've already got Nikon lenses. Or if you already got Canon lenses, you're thinking, hey, I want to go with Nikon, but I've already got Canon lenses. You kind of get stuck into that little own little branding thing, and it's really important you decide which one you want to go with. So I'm going to cut that short. I don't want to beat a dead horse. So let's get in here to the cameras. Like I said, these are both two fantastic cameras. There's neither one of them really, I can't say, none of these is going to help you take a better picture, because it's all about, you know, your photography skills, learning to light, learning composition, learning your equipment. That's really going to help you, you know, take better pictures. And of course, if you're doing portraits, learning how to work with the models and stuff, or anybody you're photoing, to bring out the best in them. So that said, well, these are your tools to get those nice photos. So let's go over the specifications of each one of these tools here. Now, the Nikon here, they'll start with it. The D3300 is a 24 megapixel. And before I forget, the Nikon does not have an optical low pass filter, which means it gives you sharper images than a normal 24 megapixel sensor, say from Canon, that does have an optical low pass filter. The Canon Rebel T6 here still only has an 18 megapixels sensor, and it also has an optical low pass filter. So technically you should get sharper images with equal quality glass on the Nikon D3300. Like I said, it's going to depend on what kind of glass you throw in front of these cameras for which one's going to be sharper. Now, megapixel wise, like I said, the Nikon is 24 megapixel. The Canon T6 is only 18 megapixel. Now, the Nikon D3300 comes with the 18 to 55 kit lens. So does the Canon version come with the 18 to 55 kit lens. The Nikon list price initial when it came out was $649. It is now dropped to $446.95 at the making of this video. It can change tomorrow. It is Amazon. I just like Amazon's layout here, folks. Then you got the Canon one here. List price is $549. Now the T5 was lower priced, at, I think around $399, about $50 less than the Nikon. So eventually the T6 price will drop as well and probably be more competitive. But you can't ever tell. Nikon might come out 6 months with the D3400, so it changes that all around again. But do expect the price to keep dropping on the T6 and probably even drop some more on the D3300 eventually. Okay, let's go over some of the specifications. The D3300 takes 5 frames per second. Let's see what the Canon one does. I think it only does like 3.5 frames per second. Let me see here. Yeah, they're not listing it, but I know for a fact it only does about 3.5 frames per second shooting. So the Nikon is a little faster on the focusing and taking photos faster. Now the Nikon has 11-point focus system with 3D tracking. That's supposed to help you get better. they're still using the older 9-point AF system on the Canon here. Now, let's don't get into too much on the points here, because while the Nikon does have 11, the Canon does have 9. Most photographers will only be using the one center focusing square because it's the most accurate, and that when somebody's focusing on, say, like a model, they'll focus in on the eye using that square and kind of recompose to get the sharpest photo, make sure the eye is in focus. That way nothing else hops into focus there, and you get consistent photos. And of course, if you're shooting landscapes or other nature stuff, you're going to be using the center one anyway. So just focus it on just the center one. They both got pretty much equal focusing systems. Like I said, these are entry-level DSLRs. Don't expect super high performance. If you are, you might want to get a lot more expensive camera. You'll end up paying 2 or 3 times more. Now, these are also polycarbonate bodies, which is basically a high-grade plastic. Very well built, but they're not weather sealed. So if you're worried about any kind of moisture or dust, you may want to upgrade to a more pro or enthusiast level camera, because these entry-level DSLRs do not have that. So if you're worried about mold or fungus, anything getting your lens or your camera body, that's something you might want to consider. Now, they both have a 3-inch LCD on the back. Let me see if I can pull some photos here. Both of them here. And neither one of these are touch. And as well as neither one has a flip out screen either. So if you want an articulating screen to pull out to the side for selfies or help vlogging and stuff, these don't have it. I wouldn't be too overly concerned with it. I do like the feature, but at this price range, you really can't expect much more than that. Now, they're both laid out really nice on the back here. Everything's very easy to get to. Finding the Canon has more of the stuff on the single hand side of things, where the Nikon still wants you to use 2 hands. Although when you go to a Canon, get to the higher level bodies, the Canon has buttons here on the left as well as the right as well. That is something to consider. See if there's anything. Talk about the ISO right quick. Now, the ISO listed on the Nikon from 100 to 12,800, expandable to 25,600. The Canon list for ISO from 100 to 6400, expandable to 12,800. That said, to be quite honest, either one of these cameras, you go hit 3200, unless you're in proper lighting conditions, it's going to not look that great. So anything past 3200, you might want to steer clear of. So I wouldn't get too focused in on these high ISO numbers. They're just for marketing. Really, like I said, neither one of these cameras are worth the crap past 3200. As soon as you hit 6400, it's garbage. Doesn't matter on how high they can go up to. They're both garbage at 6400. Now, the one thing the Canon does have over the Nikon here is Wi-Fi at NFC. So if you're wanting to take photos and be able to transfer them over to your phone, upload them straight to Facebook, the NFC and stuff's going to really help you. Plus, you can get this really cool docking station with for Canon, and so you having to take your memory card out or plug your camera up. You just go up, set it on next to the dock, and you can download your photos straight onto your computer. The Nikon one can support Wi-Fi, if I'm not mistaken, but you got to buy their own little special dongle to plug up. So that makes it very much inconvenient. Might as well just plug up the freaking USB cable. All right, now let's talk about video right quick. The video on these, the Nikon does 1080 at 60 frames per second. The Canon one here, I think, only does 30 frames per second. Let me see if I can't get some more information on that right quick. It's not listed. I know for a fact that it's 30p. It's nothing really faster. Let me see here. Yeah, it's not listed. I know it's 30p. And this. So Canon does 30 frames per second. The Nikon one does 60 frames per second. Well, but to be quite honest though, none of these are great video cameras. They're good video cameras, don't get me wrong. They're very good video cameras. But don't expect anything really great with it, because a lot of people get fixed in at that resolution of 1080p or 4K, and then they also wonder about the frame rates and all that. But neither one of these is going to have a good follow focus system. So if you're wanting camcorder type video where you can set the camera up, just sit in front of it and automatically focus on you correctly without hunting, or be able to get up and walk around with it and carry it out and shoot kids playing in the outside, neither one of these are that. Do not get these for any kind of portable video. Now, that said, if you want to set it down, set the camera up, and manually focus it, or what I do with the Canon is put a little wired remote and press half shutter, do it focus in, you'll hear it beep when it's focused in on you. You can sit there and do great videos with it. My T3i that I do all my videos and stuff with is even as up to date as this T6 here, and I use it for video all the time. Of course, I set my aperture accordingly so if I move in and out, I don't lose focus, and I don't get to walk around the room with it either. So just sitting around, it's still going to do great video. Like I said, none of these are good. Both of them are good video cameras, but none of them are great. You might want to consider something like the 70 or 80D or the 7D Mark II if you're really wanting really good video with a follow focus system. And that's my honest opinion on that one, if you're comparing Nikon to Canon. But like I said, Canon seems to do the video a little bit better overall, just in general with their cameras. Nikon still probably does the stills probably a little better, because the 24 megapixel sensor in that D3300, that's a big thing. And the Nikon sensors have a little bit more dynamic range than the Canon ones. I think the Nikons, I don't want to quote no numbers because somebody will call me out in the video if I'm wrong, but do expect a little bit better dynamic range with the Nikon sensors over the Canon sensors. I do hope this new one in the Rebel T6 here, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a rehash of the T4i. That's just what Canon's been doing with these entry-level cameras. But I don't expect it to be anything good, as near as good as the image quality you're going to get from the D3300. But anyway, that's it for the comparison video. Ain't a lot to talk about on these cameras. They're basic cameras. If you're looking for a basic DSLR to pick up, start going shooting some great photos and stuff, both of these will do it. If you're wanting, have really good video later on and want to get into a system, you might want to consider sticking with Canon. If you plan to go up to the 80D later on and stuff, we have really good video. Although if you just stills are all you're concerned about, you're not worried about video whatsoever, maybe the Nikon would probably be your better choice here. To be quite honest, if I was going to pick up a stills camera and it was not already heavily invested in Canon, I would probably go for the D3300. That looks to be a fantastic camera. Everybody talks great about it. So that's my honest opinion on it. The Nikon for an entry-level camera is the better one. Like I said, though, if you want Wi-Fi and stuff, that way you can take your photos and automatically upload them. There's still nothing wrong with this Canon T6 here. It's still a great camera. I do expect the price on the Canon T6 to eventually drop lower than the D3300. It may take 6 months to a year, but it will eventually drop. That's just the way they do stuff on this marketing stuff. And I don't know, to me personally, I just really like the way the Canons are laid out, especially the menu system. I hate hunting for stuff on the Nikons. I don't feel that the Nikons, to me personally, have been that user-friendly for a new user. I have quite a few friends that shoot Nikons, and I won't chew nails to try to figure out everything in their cameras. Nikon system is so all over the place. That's the best way to explain it. Canon's, on the other hand, is very well laid out, organized, very user-friendly. So if you're new to a DSLR, you can pretty much find everything you need within a few days. You'll be going through the menus like you've been there using it for years. So that's my opinion on it. It's up to you which one you want to go with. I think they're both considered wonderful cameras. It's up to you as a photographer to build your skills And that's what's really going to separate your photos apart. Well, these cameras do take great photos. Both of these cameras will take amazing photos, pro level photos, if you know your gear. And that's my honest opinion. And that's it for the video, really. I don't want to make this video no longer. That's my honest comparison on these two. I will put links to both of these down in the description below in case anybody wants to read up on user reviews or order with which one. You know, the links will be down there for you. But anyway, that's it for this video. If you like this video, how about a thumbs up? Thumbs up's always highly appreciated. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, be sure to subscribe. Subscribing's free, it's for you, and lets you know when I release more videos. Until next time, everyone, thank you for watching.